are watching The Marlene Cox Show. We're here for you, becoming you.
Well, welcome back. Another week. Welcome back. What am I welcoming you back to? I'm welcoming you back to the Marlene Cox Show. I am so happy to be here today, as always, and also grateful to have you joining me and joining the guest that we're going to host today that's going to be on the show. Look, before I even get into the show today, I just want to express something to you. This topic that we're going to deal with today, dress but stress. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. I'm going to read a little thing from a Dr. Naomi Shepherd, PhD, and she says it best. She said, mental health is not a destination, but a process. I'm going to pause right there. It is about how you drive, not where you're going. So think of that today as we drive down the road, as we deal with some challenges that we all have seen, especially since the pandemic, have went through some mental health issues. And our topic today, well, you're saying, why is the Marlene Cox Show topic today, dress but stress, a checkup from the neck up? Because you know what? You guys and the world sees us from the checkup, from the neck up. They see us pulled together or not pulled together. But most of the times they see people that they interact with through the day, whether it's business, on the runway, in school, whatever it might be. That first impression that we get from people because of how they carry themselves and how they walk and all of the things that they do. But do we ever think to go inside the foundation? There's a lot of people who are walking around looking so together. The kindest and the nicest people you'll ever meet. Do more for anyone else but themselves. And inside, they're burning up like fire. So that's why we're saying, you dress but stress. And that's what we're going to deal in today, to let people know, let's share this thing. Let's share this thing of mental health. You know, years ago, it was like a taboo. It's not a taboo anymore. It's no different than anything. It's no different than an eating disorder. It's no different than any type of disorder that we might have in our life. And so mental health is not either. So we're going to kind of dive in this today. We're going to talk about it. This subject means a lot to me. And I want to see that we dress this, because so many times in this industry, people see us walk down the runway, see our makeup artists put on the makeup on the models, see our talent and our musicians performing up on that stage. And inside they are hurting for so many things that have not been addressed in their life. So that's why we're talking about this today, because guess what? It happens in our industry too. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. We're going to bring in our guests. Before we do that, I'm going to go on a commercial. And when I go on this commercial, I want you to look and hear this commercial, because this is for each and every one of us. Because in every stage of our life, we go through this. I don't care if you're the CFO, the CEO, the President of the United States, whoever you might be. There's some times in our life that we have some mental health issues that we need to deal with. So guys, if you're dealing with anything, don't feel like you're alone. There's hotlines. Go to the Googles and Google some of the hotlines so that you can call in, because there's people out there who care. So when we come back after this commercial, please listen at this successful entrepreneur that we know, and she is a designer today. I want you to listen at her journey as we go in to our next commercial.
You are watching The Marlene Cox Show.
Author Dr. Marilyn Frances Walker talks about her life in her new book, Discovering Your True Identity.
Every day she was impeccably dressed, with the style of a runway model. She was a corporate executive, a wife, a mother. She was active in her church and community. She was bullied, abused, suicidal. Couldn't be. Not her. She found herself in the depths of despair and hopelessness, standing on the metro train platform, about to leap in front of it and end it all, when suddenly she stepped back and instead decided to step up to the challenges of life, to stand up to sexual abuse, crush physical abuse, stomp on verbal and emotional abuse, and trample disrespect and intimidation. She began a journey of healing and transformation, discovering her true identity in the midst of bullying, abuse, and love. She is Dr. Marilyn Frances Walker, and she transparently shares her stories of triumph and defeat so that you may be restored.
Discovering Your True Identity in the Midst of Abuse, Bullying, and Love, the new book by Dr. Marilyn Frances Walker, available at Amazon, iTunes, Kobo, Barnes & Noble, Google Books, and wherever books are sold.
And we're back. You are watching The Marlene Cox Show. We're here for you, becoming you.
Well, welcome back to the Marlene Cox Show. Welcome back. I just hope you had the opportunity to enjoy that commercial. That's well lived, that entrepreneur that we know. Well, I'm back here today with our guests again, Janet Marcy. I had trouble. Janet Marcy and Mia Collins, and we're going to talk about all of this being dressed, up from the neck up, looking like you're good, but you're so stressed inside, don't know where to go, nowhere to holler. So we're just going to go in. We're going to just have like an informal rap session on how this issue of mental health in our industry, the fashion and beauty industry. There's so many of us, when we have these issues, we run away from it. And why? We think we won't get booked. We think that we won't be able to go on the tour. And maybe you might need to cancel that tour if you're dealing with some things. So we're going to dive right into it. All three of us are in this industry, and we have insights and things that people can go to, and people out there. And remember, you are not alone. Remember that saying says it takes a village to raise a family. It takes a village for all of us to live on this wonderful earth together. And we have to share with sometimes the people are less fortunate than us. But guess what? We never know that we might be the next person who needs someone to come and get us. And my mama always said, the only time you should look down on someone is when you're lifting them up. So we're going to go here today, ladies. What do you think about what we're going to talk about? I mean, it's an interesting topic about stress in our industry. We can just go right into our own experiences of working with people on sets and working with people in the skincare and the makeup and all the entrepreneurs, the people that saw the show previously, Janet, that you were on, of all the things that you have accomplished in life. And I know going down that road, you ran across some people who had some issues. And it's in every industry, you know. Go ahead,
I guess
Nia.
my first thing I can say is no is a complete sentence.
I love it.
No. Correct. Period. Knowing when, have your boundaries.
Okay, having boundaries.
You know, I've been on sets and people can take you there. But you just have to.
Where are they taking you?
They can
help
just
us out.
They can just bring out the beast, and you don't want that. So you just, I think too, you have to remember to always come from a place of kindness, because we don't know the person that may be the bully or the person that may be doing X, Y, Z. They're also dealing with some trauma in their lives. Mm-hmm. So you want to do your best to come from a place of kindness, but we all know, you know, people can take you there.
Okay.
So, I just knowing that, having your boundaries and knowing that no, period, is a complete sentence.
So what happens to that person who won't even get it out? Because sometimes letting people know how you feel is a good thing. But then there's a group of people who will keep it in, and they won't share where they're at, where their pain is, and they hurt so deep. For me, because you're going to stress me out, you're going to get it. And then after that, I'm cool. But then there's other people.
But when you're in the arena of, I mean, when you're in the arena of your profession, you know, maybe you can pull someone aside.
Yeah. Okay.
But you want to make sure and I think for me, I want to always make sure that I am being the utmost professional.
Yes, yes,
But, there's things you can say in a way that are firm,
yes. And
direct, and to the point.
To the point.
And if someone is really dealing with a crisis situation, pull in the professionals. And usually, most times, they may have an advocate or someone that may have been trained in this area to deal with someone that may be seriously having a breakdown or something like that. And coming from a place of caring.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Janet too. But what about those people who, they're very kind people and they holding it all in and they've been taught that you have to talk your own self out of it. You can't go to a professional. There's so many people who grew up into that and they never go and seek professional help, and they just slowly dying inside. And then eventually you hear things that have happened to them, and people say, "Why didn't I notice that? Why didn't I see that?" Have you ever ran across any of those things in life?
Oh yes, and a favorite saying that I've learned is there any reason why? And so you can say it in a lot of different situations, and you can say, is there any reason why? And they'll start talking, because that's not a yes or no question. So you listen to them. You have to learn to be quiet.
Yes.
Do not interrupt,
Yes.
because the last word is probably the most important word that they're saying to you, because they've struggled to get everything out. So what you do is, as you're talking with them, you feel you're at the level that they're at. And if it's a concerning level to anyone that you would want them to be around, such as a child or an elderly person or a coworker, if you're in a work environment, if it's at a concerning level, then what you do is you do notify someone that's higher up from you. You reach out to one of the 800 lines or whatever, and they will coach you as a friend or a person, an associate of them, and in turn they will have a source to rise up to. Okay? In the meantime, don't leave them alone.
Right.
That's the main thing is, even if you can't call the 800 line when you're right with them, make sure that you're texting or bringing someone else into the situation.
Absolutely.
Or going to a location like, let's go get some coffee at Starbucks or wherever.
Taking them out of the situation, taking them from the area, and letting them know that you support them, you're with them until the professional or the person that can deal with it that has the more tools than you and I would have, or anyone that's in that situation, just knowing that you're there with them and they can feel safe with you.
And also hopefully doing that within a walking distance. Like one time I did get in a vehicle with someone that had a mental illness and drove me straight into a street light in a shopping center parking lot because of the level she was at. So just remember, don't always, make it walking distance and keep yourself safe. That's the most important thing. When you're helping someone else, make sure your safety and that you're safe and your environment's safe for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
that's so, and there's a lot, and one of the things we have to really, there's so much help out here.
Oh, yeah.
But my whole thing is with, especially in our industry, because you book a model, they come in and this model's booked all the time and they're always looking good. But it's sometimes, if you ever just saw a person, there's something going on inside, and what would be your approach? Can we talk? Can you come over here? Is there something that I can help you with? Because some people just don't come out with it.
No.
You have to kind of pull it out.
I think in those situations, and it can be tricky because, you want to certainly have empathy for what they're going through, but just know too that it's important to get the right people involved with that situation. And I think it's important, and if it's in a situation like that, the agent should be in that conversation. And they need to, if they wake up and feel like they having one of those days. In our industry, it's kind of hard. When you're booked, and they expect that person that they hired, that person with that color hair, or that they expect that talent there. So it can get tricky. And so that's why outside of the time you're working, it's important to have the self-care. It's important to have that downtime and take care of yourself and do the things that build you up and have the toolbox of things that, so when you get to that booking, you know how to maybe say, let me step aside for a minute, because time is of the essence when you're on a photo shoot, when you're on TV and film, and I'm sorry, they're not going to hold it up.
They're not, and they're
just, not going to hold up the shoot.
They're not. They're going to go hit on. You're just a number. But you just said something that's so important. You know, when we do on our Maya Collective on Sundays, we have a self-care page, and I was, if you not sure where to go, you're not sure what you want to do, go to our Facebook Maya Collective and get some pointers off of there. But the main thing, you said something that was really important.
Okay.
And we need to hear this, because we tell models how to put their model bag together.
Yes.
But we don't tell them how to put their toolbox together. You said their toolbox. Go into their toolbox. Maybe that's somewhere we need to go, to teach people how to add things to that toolbox in our industry, so they have somewhere to pull from. Because if Janet is out in a situation and you don't have a toolbox, you don't have nowhere to draw from. That was a good point.
Yeah.
Have that toolbox.
Yeah. I think too, if it's a really dire situation of these people, it's something that they've been dealing with for years. I think whomever they've been seeing has probably given them some tools, breathing exercises. Just say you need 5, take a walk around the building, just sit in the dressing room, whatever that looks like. Put some music in.
Yeah.
Read a couple motivational quotes.
Yeah.
And basically give them the tools that you can give, like a mint. You could give them something to chew on, some gum. You can give them a bottle of water. And it's not about saying, how can I help you? Because they might stand off from it.
Yeah.
It's more of, can you help me with this? And I don't care what you're getting them to help you with. It could be putting the papers in the right order. But what it does is it's called engagement. And when you engage the person, they start participating. And any relationship and anything you're doing is built upon engagement.
Yeah.
So you want to make it feel like they're participating, they're giving, and in turn you can give to them.
Exactly.
And that's how you guys will come to an even stream to get them to the next level to get help.
Yeah. I like that.
I like that word.
Engagement.
Did you understand what you just said? Engagement.
Yeah.
Engagement. And I think where I'm pulling from people who love Mia's point about maybe they've been to a doctor, but there's about out of every 100 people who might be engaged in mental illness and going through things, they haven't been to nobody.
Right.
They keeping it in. Those two things, engagement. Engagement is more than engagement. That's a powerful word, because you know what you said?
Yes.
You're building a relationship.
Yeah. And you're building, they know that they can come to you
Yes.
if this is something that, where you're working with this person every day. They know they can reach out to you. I know for myself, there was someone, and these two ladies, one lady in particular at a job that I worked at right before COVID. And every morning I came in, I decided I was done with this industry and I was going to that didn't work out too well. But anyway, I made a beeline for her, and she got me centered.
And it's not only an individual.
Good point.
Like one of my good friends and mentors, she has rescued a lot of homeless people in my hometown, Del City, Virginia. And she has rescued so many, it was too many for her. And it started attributing to her. And so it's also in our modeling industry, we hope that at Maya Models that it isn't just one of us, our name, such as Janet or Marlene or any of us individually, but they know that Maya Model in the modeling world is there to help people and also to help them grow. That's one of the traits that we give in our modeling agency. It's not just about the right color lipstick to wear. It is about the insides too.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm all about
and I
that.
think that's what sets Maya apart.
Yes.
You're not a number.
Yeah.
There's we care.
Yeah.
We
Right.
care. We really care and want to nurture you and have an understanding to really get to know you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm here and nurture what Maya does, because it's a total person that you're dealing with.
Correct.
If you ever get a plant and a seed, and you go buy some seeds at the store, and you get a little dirt, and you go plant the seed in that dirt, and Maya, and what we do, you put that seed in that dirt, and you water it occasionally because you're giving it what is needed, you're feeding it. And that's the same thing we have to do to people.
Yes.
We have to
Exactly.
nurture them.
Right.
And after we nurture them, you see that it sprouts up, and after the end, depending on what you planted, this is beautiful flower.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing that we have to do with people. That is so be y'all gonna make me cry.
And
And then it's just, it's also taking care of ourselves too, because we can't drink from an empty cup. So it's always
Correct.
keeping our cup full, and however which way that looks to you.
Yes.
If it's going for a run, if it's whatever, if it's taking an art class, if it's just meditating, being still, know that I am God. That's one of my favorite. But just whatever that looks like
to
to you, it's you cannot drink from an empty cup. So you always
Yes.
have to keep yourself filled as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's reading, getting good books, coloring for some people. It could be so many things.
I
Janet.
sit on the front porch with a cup of coffee in the morning for my half hour.
Yeah, but at what time of morning is that?
Oh, this is early.
That's what early is.
Sometimes I come out and I'm like, oh, the sun's not up yet. let me light the candle. And I have a little candle on my front porch, and I light my candle because my day has to start too early.
Yeah.
So I'll light my candle and I'll just sit there and drink my coffee. And I think everyone in town in my little Williamsport knows I drink my coffee at the crack of dawn.
And that's
just
something
time.
you do to start your day. And,
Yeah.
and something that I do is if I don't have an early schedule to be on set, I might have a cup of hot water with lemon or a cup of tea, and I sit and I watch some Gayle King, and that's my time.
Yeah.
That's my time to
Yes.
just reflect and then after I watch my morning show, I might say, hey, let me do some exercise,
Yeah,
or
there you go.
let me look and see what my day looks like, or
And we're sharing with you today what we do to encourage you to find your own way.
Yes.
Of what is something that you enjoy, and whether it's a little container of sand, a little jar of sand, and you touch the sand, or whatever it is that makes you feel like calm and relaxed. And that way, when you meet someone that is having mental illness, you can share your things that you have found or your friends have found, and they will find their own, and they will, like I said, engage. They will give back. You'll be like, oh, well, what makes you feel better, da. And they will share with you. They're going to give back, and you're going to engage with them.
Yeah, that's so important too, because I know, I say at this point in my life, because all of my children are grown, and people say, oh, you're retired. I look at them, retired. No, that's not for me. I have reset. I'm resetting, I'm resetting life. And I do those things in the morning. Like when my kids were younger, you had to get up real early. Now in that retirement, I can say what I want to do. So, and I want people to know 60 to 80, you can still have a life. You don't have to just stop. And that's a lot of mental illness in our industry. People who've come out of our industry who tell them after 40, you can't do anything. And you can. This field is so wide open for you to do, and you have to find your happy place. And my morning is my cup of tea, and I'm drinking all my things that I like. And I'm working on this. I have to stop it a little bit. I'm a news nut, so I watch my little news, my little tea, and my little quiet time. And then I want to kind of do that, and of course I do my little stretching. And I really have my Pilates machine right in my bedroom, and I'll just get on that and just do some of that. 2 minutes, 1 second, don't matter. I might just do 2. I just do it. So everyone has to find that what is good for you to do. I know friends are doing painting lessons. Learning how to paint. Oh, the other new thing that I've just brought in, that I was supposed to start in June, going back and playing the piano. I got my little CD, putting that on.
yes.
So think of things that you always wanted to accomplish, that you might like to do, or share those things with people that you might run into that have some issues that need to be resolved, that they need to help. With the and there's so many organizations, and we don't have them for you today, but I will say, go and Google Google and find out what organizations that are out there in your area. There's some generic numbers that you can use. I don't care where you are in the country, and you'll dial and they'll pick it up and talk. If it's in the middle of the night, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're feeling some way that maybe it's not a healthy way. Keep those numbers. If you know you're dealing with some things, keep them near your nightstand. Program them into your cell phone and have them there. And there's people there who want to help you. You're not alone out there. That little spot of loneliness that people feel, especially in our industry, people are grabbing on you, and you're the talent, you're the big star, you're the singer. Oh, she's on the runway, and everybody's just always telling you how great you are. But some of those people just want to scream and say, "Please hug me.
Please don't touch me."
I probably would say, "Hug me. I need a big hug today." And
I
that's
know when
something that
I
you
was
could
doing
do.
a lot of the modeling and stuff, and what really drew me to go more behind the scenes, because I didn't want people touching me. I got tired of it.
Yeah, adjusting you all the time
Yeah.
and being like, well, you need to look at the camera.
Is that coy?
And then
Look at the camera.
as a wardrobe stylist, I always make sure I keep in the care of who I'm dealing with on set, and I always ask permission. Can I come into your space? Are you okay with this?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. Do you need this or you need that? I'm making sure that they feel comfortable and safe.
And that's a good space. That's a good thought, because I don't like people too close to me in the grocery store. I'm almost sometimes have to just do like this. That means get back. You're too close. People get too close. They come
Well, I
into
feel
your
like
private space.
this is the perimeter here.
Okay, that's the
If
perimeter.
you step past that, okay, back up. So when you're working, we work. You're in close places. The photographer, the makeup artist is there, and we're in.
They're plucking and pulling at your
Yes,
clothes and
yes.
going, oh, well, you need to set up evenly.
Yes.
You're like,
And so,
What do you mean evenly? I'm not a line. I'm
Yeah.
a person,
Yeah, so it's important to, for me, I just ask permission.
And guys, as you listen to this before we go out to our next commercial, we're talking, we're having fun. We want you to lighten up a little bit, but it's important because you have all this stuff going on, and that hurt inside that you're feeling, that you just need to know that there's people who care and that you can reach out.
Yes.
That you can reach out.
Absolutely.
And don't worry about the booking, because if you're not at your best, whether it's physically or mentally, the shoot's not going to be as successful as it could have been.
Yes.
And you might not get called back anyway. So, to take care of yourself, because if you're doing the things that are for you, that you need to do for you, what do they tell you on the airplane? What is the first thing they tell you on the airplane? If you have children, what?
Put on your air thing first. The air.
your air mask.
You gotta help somebody else if you can't. even
Yeah,
help
you put
yourself.
your mask on first, then you help others and
Yeah,
put their
others.
mask on. Because if you're not breathing, they're definitely not going to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we want you
Yeah.
to get that help, and I cannot drive this home enough for our models and our talent, that they really have to understand that, because you got to figure, like, most of these young people or older people, wherever they might find themselves in life, getting into this industry, because there's not an age limit anymore. People have told you all your life that you're gorgeous, all your life that you're fabulous, all your life you have the best voice in the world, and you go and you're constantly hearing no. And I mean, some of them, remember when we were down in was it Dallas? No, we were in Tennessee. The people were cruel to them people. They were doing a shoot for More magazine, and I'm looking at these editors interviewing people, and some of the things some of them said to people, if the person wasn't strong and knew who they were, you could just tear a
Well,
person
you do need to
up.
have a tough skin in this business.
But you can't have tough skin if you don't know who you are. If you have that confidence in yourself, you can get say you get 100 no's, but that 101 is that yes.
Yeah,
puts
it
you on
says
the
it
map.
takes 3 out of 100.
Yeah.
Is the ratio as far as anything you do, as far as sales or anything else. As it takes reaching out to 100 people to get the
30%.
top 3
Yeah.
that you want to have in your life. So keep your circle small, but also be open for help.
Yes. And at that, we're going to take it out on a commercial break, and we will be right back. And guess what? This is the Marlene Cox Show with 2 hosts, Janet and Marlene. and Mia. So we'll be right back. Talk to you.
Thank you.
You are watching The Marlene Cox Show. And we're back. You are watching The Marlene Cox Show. We're here for you, becoming you.
Welcome back to the Marlene Cox Show. Today we are talking about mental illness within the modeling industry. Today we reach out to you to remind you that you're not alone. We are here for you. Your community is here for you. There are a lot of resources. And we're giving a little bit of tips in regard to help those individuals, and everyone has been in that place at some point in their life.
So you have to say something before we go to our favorite, you know what?
Only that you can't drink from an empty cup. You also keep your cup full.
Okay, and we're going to, this subject matter before we go into our next segment, which is going to be tips and tools before we close out for today, is we're going to go back to, it says dress but stress, a checkup from the neck up. And we all need to do that in our daily lives as we go through what is it that we're doing in life and why. What is your why? What is your why? Why are you doing it? What is your why? Mm-hmm. What is the accomplishment of what you want to do? And even people who might feel, I'm not really going through a mental stress, but everybody needs to have a why. Everyone needs to have goals. I meant in one segment, Mia, when you were interviewing Janet, she was saying, put up your board. You know, look at your board. Pull from your board that you put up pictures of this and pictures of that.
Your vision board.
And, your vision board. You know, and some people have this thing out now, this new thing out called mapping. Put up your mapping. Put up the things that you need to get you through to that next job. And Mia, and really before we got on tips to you really need to speak on a day in the life on this movie set, because I mean that's a long day. Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about that before we go out and how you handle it. How do you get through that day? That's a stressful day from 6 in the morning sometimes to 10 at night or whatever it is. Tell us a little bit about that before we go to our tips.
Making sure I take breaks if I need to, regardless of how busy it may be. I'll just say I need a minute. Mm-hmm. Taking care of me.
How long are you on set?
It could be 10, 12, 14-hour days.
Okay.
I think it's important to just have your boundaries and letting people know not to cross them. Mm-hmm. There are times, well, you might flip out, because I have.
Oh, no.
Oh, wait a minute. What do you mean you flipped out? What does that mean?
There were some situations, and, I just had to, just say no. No, it's just, surprisingly, the day goes by pretty quickly, but, it's intense, especially, you're shooting, it's hot. It's taking those little breaks and sneaking those little breaks if you have to, letting your colleague know, look, I need 5 minutes, or, hey, I'm going 10-1. Well, 10-1 means you're going to the restroom, and you may not need to go 10-1, but you need to get away from them. Just knowing when you need to pause.
Yeah.
That's how you get through it.
Yeah.
Staying hydrated. They have craft services and food, eating healthy foods, to give you the strength. I know when I know I'm going to be working, I typically don't eat a big breakfast, but I eat because it's going to carry me through the day, making good, healthy choices, eating fruits and drinking water. That helps as well, because if you're hungry, you've just filled up on sugar and carbs, it doesn't make for a good day.
That's
So
a
I
good
might eat
point.
some oatmeal or yogurt with some fruit and a banana, some scrambled eggs with some vegetables or something on there, because they have that all. They have it all for you, so you don't have to worry about cooking. You just get yourself there, and then you can have your meals.
And have your person on speed dial, whether it's your modeling
Yes.
agency.
Oh yeah, she was on speed dial.
Just that real quick of 3 initial type it means help, and they send you a favorite picture or a picture of the beach or the mountains or something to calm you down. But that friend that goes, oh no, that was a bad decision. But you realize, oh, I had someone to ask that, not everybody that's in front of me on the set.
I've called her many times and said, I need you to bring me off the cliff. I'm on the edge. Bring me back. What? Just, I need you to bring me back. Oh yeah, I've called her many times.
After one time there, I thought I was going to have to get some mental health. It's stressful, but you said all the key things. Eat, keep your cup full. Being, what was the word you said?
Engagement,
and all of those things. Those are important when you're dealing with all of these things. Become that better, and never feel bad to ask for help.
Yeah.
Ask for help.
Yeah.
It's there for you, and you'll find it in the least place you might think it will be. But Mary, before I go, I just got to ask you this.
Yes.
You're talking about being stressed and 6, and being on set at 6, and maybe not getting off to 10. But this is the thing that I cannot forget this. When COVID was going on, they had to be in space.
That was hard because you're working and you're hot, and you had to wear,
all the masks and the face
clothing
shield
Did you have to put on a jumpsuit type over your clothes? Or?
No.
Okay.
No. In some instances, we had to wear gloves because if the actor's in those clothes all day, you don't want to touch them because they're sweaty. So they say you had to wear gloves, and so you're hot, you're sweaty. It's just and they always take care of you. Yeah. My wardrobe supervisor just take care of yourself. Drink some water. Do this, do that. So
the same thing.
When you're with a model, I mean, it may be a model. We just recently interviewed a model that was very young, and the first thing I did was get down on her level. I think she was like 4 or 5 years old, so I got down on her level and I talked with her and everything. And then when I stood up, I said, "Do you want to walk the walk with me?" And she walked right. I taught her how to do the walk as if she was doing the runway, and we pivoted and we did our turns and so basically get on their level and then engage with them, so that they don't feel that their mental illness that they're having or mental issues that they're having at that moment are beneath you.
Right.
Make sure that they feel they're on the same level as you. Right. Because one day you're going to be on that bottom level and you're going to need someone to bring your little butt up.
Yep. So anyway, before we go anymore, we got to do that one thing. What's that thing called? It's time for Tips and Toodles. Well, with tips and tools, I think we gave you a lot of tips and tools already. But for the sake of time, ladies, is there any more tips that we can share? Because I mean, today's show was filled with passion and love and caring. So any more tips that you can share, or just repeat some of the ones that we shared as we went through our conversation today, because it's so important that the models and the talent and the musicians and the singers and the wardrobe people and the hairstylists and the makeup stylists, it's very stressful. You're even a makeup artist, you're doing maybe 10 or 20 faces a day with your group. I mean, that can be very stressful because everyone's not easy to work with, so you have to have as Mia said, have your cup full. So Mia, give us our first tip.
You can't drink from an empty cup. Take care of you.
Okay. Janet?
I would say keep a journal, whether it's a verbal journal by voice or a written journal with you to keep track of where you were, because 5 years from now you're going to look back and you'll be, wow, I climbed that mountain.
Wow.
Did I actually get from learning how to use the right fork to being the youngest couple at the Commandant's Marine Corps Ball? So you have baby steps that you take all throughout your life.
Oh, wow. What a great tip. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to close out with that. So I'm going to give you this little tip. And this tip today is for people in my industry who, what society says, has retired. Go pull back your passion. You might be in the runway, but maybe there's some other things you can do behind the scenes. Maybe you can create your own product line. Maybe you can start your own production company. Maybe you can become a seamstress on stage. I mean, there's so many things that you can do. You can assist or you can work. You might say, I don't want to do too many hours. I just do some assistant. You're never too mature if there's things you want to do in your career that, how about writing a book? We can write a book about your life. Write a book about a situation. There's so much you can do in your life in this industry. So one of the things I like about this industry, when I started in this industry, at 25 you were done. Today you can go to 90. It all depends on how the things that they share with you today, how well you take care of yourself. And that means eating, taking care of yourself. It's all part of that. So that was so good, ladies. We're going to get ready to close out for today. What a great show. But I came across this, and I'm going to look down a little bit, and I know sometimes but this is so good. And it's from Elizabeth Curbit Ross. And I'm going to close the Marlene Cox Show out with this today. The most beautiful people we have known are those who have known defeat, known suffering, known struggles, known loss, and have found their way out of the deeps. These people have an appreciation, a sensitivity, and an understanding of life that's filled them with compassion, gentleness, and a deep loving concern. Beautiful people do not just happen. And basically, to me, it's saying, are you going through? Are you growing through? This is the Marlene Cox Show. We will see you back next week. And I hope you have a wonderful and a safe week. And we'll be airing on WBGR on Wednesdays at 5 o'clock TV on Google. And we also, at 7 o'clock, you look at us on our social media. We'll be on our YouTube station. So thank you for bringing us into your living rooms or your laptops or your cell phones or wherever you brought us in. We are so appreciative of you. You have a good one. And you know what? Stay safe. And we'll see you back next week. Take care. We love you. And thank you for listening.
You are watching the Marlene Cox Show. We're here for you, becoming you.